Yeah, both these teams are yet to pick up a win, but of course Endpoint have taken 2 losses, whereas North Academy only lost against Ukraine, who I think it's fair to say are favoured in this group. And of course we are heading back into Overpass. This is a map that both these teams have already played. North Academy do like to play this map fairly often. I think they have been a bit up and down on this map, but for the most part, I think more ups than downs, even if it has been somewhat inconsistent. But again, Endpoint themselves looked fairly good. Specifically, Weber with that AWP was having a lot of impact. If that could continue and Alex couldn't have such a poor game, because I don't think he'll play that badly again, could still be chances for Endpoint as they take the knife round their way. It's also worth pointing out as well, Endpoint have been very good on their T sides, but struggled CT. So they could try and pick T side if they wanted, but no, they are going to start CT side by the looks of things. So let's see if Endpoint can finally get over their issues on the CT side of things here.
Very nice CT side over against Godsent in the last series. Last match, really. Very, very good from them. So let's see if this pistol round can work out to their favour and whether the general half consensus will work out to their favour. Again, it's going to be quite an interesting time to see how well these guys can find their way up. It is last chance saloon for Endpoint, and this is one of a number of challenges that will get swung their way in terms of this group stage. They still have to face up against Ukraine as well. It's not looking good here for these guys, so there's a lot resting on this next match. If they lose this one, they're probably going to end up out of the top 3 of the group. So let's have a look, see how the pistol round will go. The good start from Endpoint needs to come up strong. Defuse kit out for Mighty Max, double flash for him as well. The Kevlar should be coming out on most of the players here for Endpoint. The single HE flash and smoke for IMI North Academy with all 5 players on Kevlar. No utility for a setup as Endpoint and North Academy go into Overpass once again in tonight's matches.
Yeah, and just quickly running down North Academy, of course, we haven't seen them yet on the B stream. I think for the most part, Mertz is certainly the standout player. Generally, he does rely a little bit on that AWP, but if he can get that AWP early, we could see North Academy had a good time at things. And then in terms of the sort of second best player, the second star of the team, it's kind of a mix between potentially Gade, Acor, and Borat, kind of depending on the game, but Gade seems to be the one who steps up more often than not. Either way, we're going to have to see if that's the case here, because we're already heading into the pistol, and North Academy taking things fairly slowly, but Stanley pushed out through B, gets that first pick over towards Monster, and now he will just fall back to the site to hold things safe with the man advantage, although Stanley is not so safe anymore, because he's
oh my god!
How does Stanley get 3 kills from that position? Great hold from him, and you can see North Academy looking rattled as they try and nervously make their way towards the B site.
2v4 situation. Stanley again with that aggressive push down through the monster position will once again set things up for the rest of Endpoint to take this pistol round with particular ease. Headshots out for the man, and it leads up to a core. Takes himself 2 frags, maybe able to get a Mighty Max. Okay. Headshots for one, headshots for another, a 4K clutch from a core. Can he find him? He knows exactly where he is and will be able to pick up the bomb, but 30 seconds left. Irish to go for a quick rotation back towards A site. It looks like it's not going to happen as IMI will shut him down, deny the clutch to come through from North Academy. A 3K for 2 players in the opening round, though. That is a very, very good start from both sides.
Yeah, very sort of explosive round towards the B bomb site. It went back and forth. Acor nearly salvaging the round. It didn't quite work out for them, and so of course Endpoint now should be fairly heavily favoured, although they only have the 1 M4 for Stanley. Of course, it is joined by the FAMAS of IMI as well as some SMGs. You can see North Academy themselves with a fair few Deagles, just going to be trying to work those openings, you would assume. Out come the flash from Weber just to make sure no fast B play can come in, but that will not be the case because the Danes are making their way in towards Connector and in towards Fountain. So it looks like they're going to try and split towards A, but with Alex having an MP9, wouldn't expect him to stick around for too long in towards bathrooms. He will likely be trying to play those close range fights. Some fights coming out towards A long, but now Endpoint will indeed just back off and play from the site itself.
And just these Deagles from North Academy, no bomb plant, of course, forced by trying to peek up, trying to take out players from Endpoint at the moment, but these are passive angles being held by the British team. It's an A hit that looks to come through from North Academy. It's just flashbangs come on through. Gay going to lead up the charge here alongside his teammates. We'll get the first kill on Alex, but 2 for 2 trades coming back from IMI as well. That leaves up to the bomb plant to eventually go down on the site. Yeah, Court will get it down, but a 3v3 retake. Endpoint have a lot of damage to work with, and they're actually using the utility pretty nicely to force North Academy off the site itself. Bomb goes down for default, and Mertz is holding up the first man. Aggressive will get flashed out of position. The Cyclone also peeks in from along, trying to take down Mighty Max, and Stanley just can't quite seem to land this one dig, as Stanley does lock him out of the action. Peeks on through with the M4, looking for the next man of Mertz, and will take him down. The fuse is being stuck. Mighty Max just keeping with it, and Accord just cannot seem to deal with it. It will be the second round on the board for Endpoint, but at the very least, North Academy getting themselves a bomb plant means that the rifle round in the next round, when it does come through, will be a little bit stronger than we usually expect to see.
Certainly should be the case, sorry. And we kind of saw there the issue for Endpoint. When you fall back to play from the site, you can lose the site fairly quickly, and if the rotate doesn't come in time, you can concede the bomb plant. We saw that come out, but then North Academy didn't really have the weaponry picked up. They didn't really have the nades to be able to close it out from the 3-on-3. So it did always feel like Endpoint were big favourites to win the round, but of course conceding the bomb plant still is a slight issue for them, and we will see North Academy have just a small bit of investment here, and Alex could be in position to mop this up. MP9 goes down first there. Gade with the CZ gets the frag up close. Of course, it's only an MP9 recovered. An opening pick nonetheless for the Danes as they make their way in towards bathrooms.
A little bit more of an automatic weapon that they can work with as well, so let's see how well Borup uses this particular SMG to his favour. Apparently the answer to that question is not very well, as he gets dinked down, will end up falling. Mertz out with the next challenge, but lots of HP damage being done to North Academy. Mighty Max next up the challenge, will be able to peek out and take down a core. Good grenade as well. Doesn't quite land on Mertz, so not the best of forms being shown by the utility usage of Endpoint, but either way, not a lot of HP for North Academy. This should be a relatively easy round for Endpoint to lock out. Indeed, Weber does take Gade, and Mighty Max locks up the triple kill with the FAMAS. So, yeah, damage being done, but 3-0 all in all. And most importantly, Endpoint do take that M4 into the next round at FAMAS as well on Mighty Max. So, the important weapons stay in. As the AWP comes out from Weber, it's going to be the buyback coming on through here from Endpoint and North Academy. Also with the AKs in play, 5 AKs and a lot of utility, and that's really why that second round bomb plant was so crucial, because it means that they have a lot more to work with when it comes to their overall utility usage on the T side. So into the default we go. Very little control of outside going to get taken, but Cyclone will get out towards the T main area. Outside of that, North Academy, for the most part, just setting things up for a very nice B default.
Again, Weber boosted up towards B short. We see it time and time again, and Weber is still sticking around here. There's a player on the right-hand side he needs to be careful of, but Gade is just going to play things safe. So the opening pick works out for the AWP, and I was somewhat surprised not to see North Academy themselves go for an AWP here. Mertz would have had the money for it. He had like $5,800, I believe, so plenty of cash if he wanted to go for it. Out comes the flash. Stanley goes for the peek, but gets his head taken clean off. Here comes the push, and Max only good for the 1 kill. But Weber is still here towards the site. Misses the shot though, so now the flank is going to be more important, and the flank could do everything. Alex is here. Easy frag for him to leave Cyclone all alone 1v3. Forced into the open, and Imi is there long range with the ump to secure the rounds. And Endpoint again off to a good start here. 4-0 up. Alex was in the perfect position for the flank. And more importantly, Weber did a great job at just slowing things down on the B site with that AWP.
The great thing about it as well is that Endpoint look a lot more confident than they were against Godsent in the opening part. It's a very, very similar situation to how the Godsent match started up. Endpoint got themselves the opening pistol round and connected together the conversions thereafter. But this time around, they're actually receiving a lot less damage than when Godsent brought things to the table. Of course, Endpoint were on the T side to start things off with that last map. But in this case, losing at best 2 players means that the economy is kept modest, but still profiting at the moment. $6,100 on Imi is the richest player right now for Endpoint as North Academy. Going with a bit of a half-buy, well, half-buy, force-buy, whatever you want to say about it. The pistols will be up for grabs. Deagles, CZs, PT50, and helmet Kevlar more than importantly than anything else, which is an interesting kind of thought, because if you're North Academy, then surely you must be thinking that several players here from Endpoint, at least 2 players, or at least, at least 2 players will have the AKs in play. So a lot of this is going to get negated with by the peaks coming in from Imi and Alex. North Academy, however, will just decide for a quick hit into the A site, see if they can get the bomb down, see if they can do any damage to Endpoint, and indeed will be the charge being led. And 2 frames should go towards their favour to kick things off.
Yeah, bomb should be going down here, and they have the 2-man lead. That was really out of nowhere, and you can already see Borup has the AWP, although the rest of the team haven't recovered the rifles. So it's up to Stanley and Mighty Max to make it work. They're going to have to make their way up on the rotate. You can already see Max trying to force the fights over towards Bank. Mertz is holding up close, but I'm not sure Max is going to expect such a close position here. He has to clear this corner, does just about get that opening headshot. However, they still have to make the move fairly quick now with the time ticking away. The smoke will come towards the bomb. They do have the kit, and Stanley is just sticking the defuse here in the midst of the smoke. The
oh my god!
And Mighty Max shuts it out. Stanley has plenty of time for the defuse, and Boric with the AWP just can't do anything. What a play from Mighty Max to secure the round win for Endpoint.
A 3k for him and a very, very smart play from Mighty Max. Not only did Stanley stick the defuse, but Mighty Max was also held very close towards that smoke. Drew the attention of all the North Academy players to him. It didn't matter that he got 3k. He was able to just draw the fire away from the diffuser, and that's all we needed to do in that round. He managed to do so, managed to get 3 kills at the end of it, and a very, very nice round from him. Able to sneak one out against North Academy. It's 5-0 to the favor of Endpoint. As we see the double AWP setup come out from Weber and Imi once again. Alex getting aggressive towards long. No support this time, but will be held back passive and waiting for peaks to come through from North Academy. Max lost bonus buy here from the T side, and they are starting to show for it. A little bit limited on the utility sets. They have, of course, got the bomb plant bonus, but in this case, it is just Alex. Oh, look at this. Knows where Gate is, does shut him down, doesn't know that Mertz is there, but has a general idea and will re-smoke it to ensure that control doesn't land towards him, spraying on through as well. T-side should wrap back behind him. Boric should get the backstab and shut down this lone player. So back to a 4 versus 4, and trades will end up working to the favor of Endpoint. No, it's actually 1-for-1 all in all, but Mighty Max does eventually shut down a core over on the B site. Lurk is a 2 versus 3 favor to Endpoint at the moment, and 60 seconds left for North Academy to make their move in the A site.
I was saying Mertz with that AWP could be important. He's got the 1 kill, he's got the AWP in his hands. Generally, he's been the best player for the Danish CIS side, but let's see if that continues, because Weber's going aggressive, and he shuts down Mertz with the AWP. Weber looking for the seconds, and on just 17 points of health there, Weber did such a great job at working the angles and making sure the opponents couldn't even really get a chance to fire on towards him. Really nicely done. Again, Weber's been really on point with that AWP so far, especially on overpass, as we saw from the previous one, and Mertz can still afford the AWP. Money is certainly flowing for North Academy thanks to so many round losses. But certainly don't want to be 6-0 down to start off the map. And let's see if this time they don't get caught off guard early on, because I think those opening picks from Alex especially made a really big difference. We are going to see Mertz go out towards mid. But he's not going to try and get an opening early on, so it will just be Imi opening up. Weber is boosted, and Acor doesn't watch it, but Weber misses the shots. Trade's going back as Mertz, in the meantime, takes down Imi. So both AWPers trade upon each other, but Mertz still has one in his hands. It's going to be a 4-on-4 to play from.
Now losing that main AWPer of Imi. Weber unable to connect the first frag, but you got to give him credit, man. He is a very, very good AWPer when it comes down to adding pressure. Give him a low amount of HP, and chances are he's going to be able to perform. But yeah, trades coming back and forth, and Endpoint just unable to lock out that second frag means that it's a 4-on-4. The T side showing them very, very little. They're going to sneak past Alex's early peek in to try and gain control of connector. Flashbangs over, Stanley going to look for anything he can. Doesn't see anyone in the short position, but when this squeaky door does pop, it's going to be a very, very fun little challenge for him. Backstabbing coming. Meanwhile, look at Alex. He's spotting all the players. He's called it out, waiting and lurking, taking out Cypher and spraying his way on towards the second Mertz. That's it. That should be round done for North Academy, thanks to fantastic trigger discipline from the LDLC stand-in. And now just a 2 versus 4 for North Academy. Borup comes through, Weber shuts him down, and now looking for the second frag above a core. Well, gets a bit sprayed on through. Does take down Stanley, but eventually the AWP peek and pick comes through for Weber. A 7th round on the board for Team Endpoint.
Alex is having really good sort of presence of mind on these flanks. You saw there again, as you were saying, the trigger discipline, but also he's consistently getting behind the opposition. We saw it in a previous round, and North Academy have been trying to make that B play work more often than not. And so Alex is more than ready to push out through A, and again, that might give North Academy sort of second thoughts about whether they want to go for these sort of B pushes. Looks like, though, they're not having any second thoughts here, because look at the minimap. North Academy all out towards B, all AKs, and a full-on rush, but the molly comes in. The nade could be huge. Damage is dealt across the board, but already the entries come in. Trades back, and Mighty Max does find 2 frags himself there on the site. I don't even know where he found them from in water. He does get himself another chance, and Mighty Max continues to frag out. In the meantime, Alex has plenty of time to rotate back around and make sure the round is shut out. And despite Weber having to play up close there with the AWP, It's Mighty Max this time to make sure the B site is locked down, and an 8-0 scoreline now. This is really getting out of hand.
And you can see it as well, North Academy taking a tactical pause. Need to reassess their situation, reassess their standing in this game, because anything that they thought they had, any premonitions they had against Endpoint, is all going a little bit south here for the Danes. 8-0 to the favour of Endpoint at the moment, having a very, very stellar half so far. And a lot for North Academy to think about as well. The best thing about that B defensive as well, that it didn't even have the standard setup. You know how Stanley usually holds close towards towards the monster push and tunnels. Didn't even have that this time. Instead, it was Weber held back over towards the column, and there was also Mighty Max supporting him from the back out past the bridge into jungle and graffiti. So when it came to Team Endpoint's hold, it was very, very non-standard, and definitely not what North Academy were not expecting when the aggression came through for them. So I'm impressed, I'm not going to lie. Endpoint have actually had a very, very high standard of form. And, you know, I was a little bit skeptical going into this matchup as well. I mean, I expect North Academy just to do well on the basis that they're a much more regimented team than the likes of Endpoint. But yeah, it's a bit weird seeing this much of an advantage going to the favour of the UK team at the moment.
Yeah, and that looks to continue because, again, North Academy are just back down to pistols. Going to be some Desert Eagles bought up for them, as well as I expect Acre on Cyclone to also invest. There we go. Going to be 4 Deegs. Will we see a 5th? Yes, we will. So it's just going to be up to trying to find those opening headshots. I think it is very much worth pointing out, though, these have not been very clean rounds for Endpoint. Their money is not looking great. 1 round loss could actually break them even, so it would be nice for Endpoint here to hold on to as many weapons as possible up against the pistols and start to build up some of that money, because there are still rounds left, and already it's Mighty Max out towards B, peeking through Monster. Imi himself chimes in with a kill of his own, and the Deagles are just getting picked off one by one to start the round.
3 versus 5 already. Endpoint finding the opener out towards Monster and a follow-up out towards Long, so any presence that North Academy do hold in this round has all been kind of falling apart here. Bomb out towards Monster alongside Cyclone. North Academy going in for a half play at the moment to try and regain control of the economy, but they really want to find something with these Deagles, else they will just lose out on cash and allow Endpoint to bolster their economy as a result. Defense just coming on through. Stanley held back towards the outside of Monster ramp. And 55 seconds will be left in play for North Academy to make their eventual push. They could rotate. I mean, Mercer's got this mid-control in bathrooms. So there's opportunities available for North Academy if they do want to go for this. They've got a smoke out as well that can go into the likes of Dumpster. I imagine that's where Cyclone will put it through here. But very little time left for the push now for North Academy. Mertz will lead the charge. 2 players here to defend. It's Imi and Alex. Imi with the AWP watching long. Alex here watching down mid. North Academy are going to run this clock very, very low before they make their push into the A site finally.
Yeah, they only have 1 smoke, and more importantly, Alex has already got that first frag. The man from Truck does get a kill back, although Mertz was there with the Deeg to finally find 1. There's the AWP picked up the Mertz, and the push comes in, but Weber with the pistol himself finds the kill on towards Mertz. So it will be Endpoint to close it out fairly convincingly. A 9-0 lead, and their money will finally be built up thanks to surviving in the previous rounds. And I think it is worth mentioning the fact that North Academy, they did, in the WESG Denmark qualifiers, the reason they're in this group is because they did not win in the final. They only got the 2nd seed, so they got put into a bit of a tougher group. And considering they're losing 9-0 against Endpoint here, this could be very, very difficult for them if they can't overcome this scoreline. Let's see if Mertz can do something with the AWP, because the entire team has been struggling so far, but Mertz always has the potential to open up. Oh, Mertz has the man in front of him. That was so bad. Gade was just standing in front of Mertz, and so Alex just lines them both up. He couldn't pull the trigger with the AWP, and again, this is just looking shambolic now from North Academy.
And Alex had a very poor game on their last overpass game against Godsend, but this time seems a lot more regimented when it comes to the team play of Endpoint, just peeking on up and getting the double spray down. Very, very nicely done. This is all just falling so badly apart here for North Academy. This is looking like a 10-0. I'm not going to lie, Alex. This is more than likely going to be double digits for Endpoint at the moment. A 2v5 Economy is allowed to bolster for Endpoint as well if they don't lose anybody on this next push coming in from Borup and Cyclone. They need to do damage at least to try keep Endpoint in check to allow some sort of breathing room right now for North Academy, but it's just going to be Imi peeking up with the AWP. He does get forced out of position, but he's got Alex there to back him up. And Alex has also got a very good position on Borup as well. Molotovs will kind of force a divide, but Imi's still got a good angle on default. As Alex sprays his way on towards one more, looking for Cyclone. Can't quite get the frag, but it doesn't matter because Weber is there towards the other side and will shut down the bomb planter for 10-0 to the favor of Team Endpoint. Not quite sure where Alex has gone. It looks like there is a...
Okay, I think I'm here now.
Okay, welcome back.
There we go.
You had like your light lighting up and there was nothing coming out of TeamSpeak.
Yeah, I think my mic might have just unplugged itself, which is always a good sign. We're just going to see the pistols in this round though for North Academy pushing in towards mid. There was actually Alex there playing somewhat close. The incendiary will not keep him safe, and so Acor opens up. That's a rifle for himself, and the A site is looking fairly open here. Imi with the AWP is going to have a tough time holding up at this post position, but he does get the first, getting the flank, nearly lands that flick back around. However, instead Gabe will take him out, and now the rotate will come up, but Weber misses a shot.
Oh
Max
my
makes
God.
up for it on just 2 HP. He nails both those kills, and here comes Stanley spraying away to make sure the round is good for Team Endpoint. And just as it looks like North Academy have the chance to take a round, it gets snatched away from them at the last second.
11-0, Endpoint. Man, when the pressure ramps up on this team, and this is something I've never really noticed with Endpoint in the past, when the pressure ramps up for Endpoint, it can really show up to be something incredible for these guys. Like, just Mighty Max on just 2 HP, getting 2 kills. Then Stanley and Weber wrapping up for all the rest of the frags and just allowing that opening to go to their favor. Just incredible stuff coming out from the Endpoint boys. And although they aren't able to lock out some of these matches, it looks like it's a very confident and great showing performance from the UKCS boys. Double up setup also saved here, and the money line of Endpoint at the moment, it shouldn't be much of a problem to get a full buy back here against North Academy. I've got a quick tech pause for North Academy, but if this was there, if I was then the Danes at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if we were talking tactics as well. I mean, just even I wouldn't be surprised if this was a tactical pause at all here from the T side. But either way, technical pause looks to be sorted out. Cyclone still yet to buy, but has enough for the 5 rifle setup. Could go AWP glass cannon if he wants to, but he'd opt against that for the full sets of utility across everybody here for North Academy. Double AWP setup from Weber and Imi. Been very, very powerful so far on this CT side. And can Endpoint lock out the perfect half against North Academy? They still are in the running for a 15-0, maybe even a 16-0. And unless North Academy step up right now, because even they're not delivering the frags, it's going to start looking like a pure outclassing from UKCS.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, we're 11-0 here, and yet the other game hasn't even started yet. If Endpoint keep this up, the other game in the group could have not started before they finished, because I think they're having some technical issues over there. So this could be a rather incredible scoreline if Endpoint continue. But we are going to see this time North Academy trying to work things out towards B. The smoke is deployed, but Stanley is playing up close. And again, Alex is in towards Connector. He's ready for the quick flank if necessary, but he's going to push all the way through. I don't think he will be there in time, because it looks like North Academy themselves are going to line up the quick push. Here we go. Acor going to try and work out Monster, but Stanley is right here in the midst of the smoke. Acor, though, pushes through for the first, and there we go. Cyclone explodes with the rest of his team to take the B sites. And as Acor finds the flanking Alex, I think finally the Danish team are going to get their first round together.
After 11 grueling rounds as well, excuse me, Imi just left to save the AWP. And Endpoint just getting caught off guard when it came to those peeks and picks. They had Stanley once again holding close range, which is a strategy that we've seen him use time and time again. But this time, he just couldn't get the frags together when it came down to Acor peeking up from Monster. And then, of course, the push came in from short. Cyclone getting himself 2 kills as well. Loses a lot of HP. But in the end of it, just not enough for the Endpoint side to hold things together. It will be 11-1. Finally, the Danes score their first here on Overpass. It took them a very long time to come up here, but even so, they've still got to come up against the buyback of Endpoint because their economy has been bolstered so far this matchup. The M4's to come through, the AWP, of course, saved and just being brought down. So it's still going to be a very strong round here from the CT side. Be curious to see if Imi goes for the second AWP. It has been dropped for him. So, yeah, they have got the double up setup back in play with full sets of utility across the board for every player in the server now. But North Academy open up an opportunity. If they can take out Endpoint now, then it may end up being a simple reset up against their economy.
Yeah, we've again got Alex playing in towards Connector. We didn't really see much of him playing in towards Con in the previous game. Recently, it has been working out for him, and so he's going to continue to try and make it happen. However, that does leave the A site really quite vulnerable. You can see Imi is holding here with the AWP somewhat aggressively, and Alex does only get one frag in towards Connector, and that forces Imi to fall back. In the meantime, though, Stanley came through B short. That's actually the bomb in their control. I didn't see Stanley there coming into position to make sure the trades go their way. And what can North Academy do now? They don't have the bomb. They're in really awkward positions. Stanley is still the only man committed to the Connector play, though, so could get the bomb back, but even then, a 3-on-4 is difficult to overcome.
He's going to hear this as well. He knows the North Academy are trying to retake this bomb, and he's just holding back. He's actually waiting for the backstabber coming from Gade, and he's right to think about this as well, because he will take him down. Swing around for the second spray, can't quite land it together, so eventually North Academy will be able to get themselves the bomb back, but it's still a 2-on-3, and a fluffed flashbang as well is going to cause a lot of problems now. Imi next up to challenge here on the site, spotting out a core peaks in quick scope, but he can't quite get the kill, and that allows the bomb to get planted. So Endpoint, North Academy are back in play for this one. It's a good opportunity to maybe reset Endpoint once again, so let's see what they can do. Endpoint is unable to make the best of their situation out into Connector. I think that's mainly what's caused them this issue, and now having to be on a retake. 40 seconds on this one. Both defuse kits in play. 2 versus 2, but limited utility for Endpoint. They start to make their way through, and Akor and Mertz both playing out towards the midline.
Mertz is still crouched in the corner. Mighty Max doesn't check it, and so Mertz springs up into action. What a play from Mertz. He takes the risk there of staying in the corner, and despite not really having the information for it, he just absolutely annihilates the players pushing towards him. The second headshot was so quick on the follow-up. And North Academy also had the second player in towards bathrooms make sure to peek at just the right time to gather the information. Very, very nicely done there. Again, it's a risk, but I think at this point it's worth taking a gamble like that just to try and win another round for the team. And it works out. It's a calculated risk, if you like, just to make sure he can come out on top. And of course, you've still got to be fair to him. It did require a lot of skill to be able to get those 2 headshots so incredibly quickly. And more importantly, of course, Endpoint now themselves are down in a slightly awkward position. They've gone for the tactical timeout, and it looks like they are just going to go for pistols to make sure they can get a bye into the last round of the half.
This is a rage timeout. I'm very scared about this. We've seen this before from Endpoint, especially if you're in and around the UK scene like myself. You'll know that whenever they get on a winning streak and then they lose maybe 1 or 2 rounds against their opponents, Imi calls the pause and then just has a bit of a moan at his teammates. Gets very, very heated sometimes, so I'm scared that's what this is. And if it is, that may put the tilt on Endpoint, or it could spring them back into life. For this round, probably not going to be much held out. They are stacking into the B site. CZ's P250s. Couple of flashbangs, a smoke as well. Barup making his way in from short, but Gade gets the opening out as they start to thin out the UK team. Barup comes up with 1 more kill. Weber and Stanley, actually, they do actually manage to trade themselves 2 frags back. 3 versus 3, and this is still plausible, but they have to come up against the push coming in from Monster. Imi spotted. Cyclone sprays his way on through, but he's got the highest HP out of all the Endpoint players here, and he's still doing his damage. No grenades. Not enough utility to try and see if they can steal away a kill. If they had a HE grenade, they could have put some serious damage and maybe taken out Cyclone in towards Monster, but eventually North Academy will decide to back off. The AK will get picked up by Weber. Be looking for the second rifle as well. Actually could get a decent position on North Academy as well. This is a great opportunity for them, but 45 seconds left for North Academy to make their push in. 2 players to challenge against it, Stanley and Weber. So Weber and Imi in towards Connector. Stanley's rotated towards the A site, so let's see what they can do, making their way up from long.
Yeah, this is the issue here of the Danes falling back. They give away the rifles that they knew were down towards B short, but also Endpoint are in such strong positions now. They're just committed to A. Look at Weber in towards bathrooms. I'm not sure they will be able to shut him out. With Stanley also being in towards bank, this could be big. Weber patiently trying to get that opening kill, and he will manage to find it. 15 seconds now, and North Academy have to make a decision. They have to try and get the bomb down, but they're just caught from so many angles, and here comes Stanley! How does Mertz get that kill? That is insane to shut things down. I thought Stanley was almost certainly going to be able to find the frag, deny the bomb plant, but no, North Academy just about hold on for a third round win in a row. Didn't exactly feel convincing from them though, and heading into the last round of the half, it will be double AWPs on the side of Endpoint to try and close out a 12th round here.
My word. 2 kills and the quick turnaround for the third, and sadly Stanley didn't have himself a rifle to work with in that P250. Could have almost got him a frag, but now Endpoint have a last buy here in this half to try and make something work against them. A lot of aggression will come through from the CET side, but actually that does force North Academy to play back passive. Borup in particular is the most far forward when it comes down to this T side aggression. Trying to find anything in towards connector, but he will hear the footsteps of Imi, and this AWP will rotate back away. Short control's been gained. Alex gets the first, and Pete comes through from Borup trying to take down Stanley. He can't quite do it. And that leaves also a second frag to come through on Mighty Max. Alex with a backstab, but still not to be right now. 4 on 3. And all the players here from North Academy are looking quite scattered. 3 players to find still left in this server right now. A minute to go, but look at Alex. He's spotted Gage trying to go for the knife, but eventually switches out to the M4 to get that last kill. Imi spotted out Borup. Weber looking on through for the quick kill, but the core will take him right back out. Now, just 3 players to find for Endpoint. A retake will be up in play. The Incendiary and the Molotovs will try and push him out of position, but he gets up aggressive, trying to look for Cyclone. Can't quite find it. He's out towards the other side of the pillar, and it leaves it all on Alex now. Ace clutch for the matchup for the round here for the 12-3 half for Endpoint. It's not going to happen, as North Academy will be able to, at the end of the half, lock up a 4-round streak to bring the half 11-4 to the favour of Endpoint.
Yeah, at the very least, salvaging these 4 rounds at the end of the half keeps themselves in contention. And as you were saying earlier, Endpoint, maybe the tilt could become a factor. You were saying we've seen it in the past. Hopefully in this halftime break, they will just take things into perspective and realize the position they are in, because they are still very much the favorites as long as they just close out a couple more rounds. And you would think they would be able to do so heading into their T side. We have again seen Weber play fairly well with that AWP. In that previous round towards B, he didn't exactly have too much success, but prior to that, he was a large part of them getting that 11-round lead to start with. So heading into this pistol, of course, when you only get 4 rounds in the first half, you pretty much have to win the pistol round here if you're on the North Academy side of things. So here we go. Let's see if this all-important pistol can go their way. We are going to see the buys slowly but surely come in, and Cyclone will get himself a kit and 2 flashes. In the meantime, Mighty Max goes for the nades, surprisingly enough. I was kind of expecting Imi to buy them up. It will be Mighty Max to go for it, and we've seen Endpoint in the past go for some very fast pushes with these 5 Glocks when they have gone for these T-side pistols. And that might be the case again. 4 players sticking together for the UK team to start the round.
The double flash smoke out for Mighty Max. As Borup tries to look in for the first frag, it actually will be a lot of aggression coming through here. Actually out towards Mertz. Actually there's that first frag, but yeah, Imi right now. Sorry, my observer isn't working. I can't quite find the buttons. There we are, working now. But yes, shots on shots now, 4 versus 4. And the T-side will gain control of the A site. Gade will end up falling. Endpoint just peeking out and taking players down. It's Cyclone next up the challenge here, out towards Ultimus, spotting out Stanley, but Stanley still gets the frag and a core on 16 HP. 1 versus 4. Looks like Endpoint are going to claim this second pistol round. This puts North Academy on a very, very awkward spot as well. We're looking down 14-4 before the first rifle round. For Endpoint, that's potentially a match point to their favour. A lot for them to work with right now on this T side. North Academy have the force by the Eagles, the CZs out to play with, flashbangs galore. Let's see if they can do any damage, any sort of opportunity to open things up for this CT side.
Yeah, I do love the way Alex still managed to get angry even after the rest of his team closed out the round with ease. He was still not happy with going down first, but this time he's going to get the first kill for his team out towards B. push coming in. Alex continues to frag out. That Galil doing so much work, going for a third, and he just finds 3 headshots on the B site, and it's as simple as that. The round should be pretty much over, as those pistols just get decapitated one by one by one. So Mertz and Gade, the 2 players left, trying to find something with the Deegs, but Mighty Max pushes through with the ump himself. And clearly, Alex is the Hulk, because the Rage has allowed him to completely take over that B-bomb site.
Yeah, solo entries on the 3K. Alex coming alive once again. Not had the best of shouts when it comes to overpass, but in general, Endpoint are actually having a very, very good performance across all their players. Look at those frag counts. Between 10 and 18 frags across the board for all players here. Everyone hitting double digits. When you take a look at North Academy, they've only really got Akor and Mertz at 14 and 13 frags apiece. Not looking great here when it comes to the overall numbers, and that's the reason why Endpoint are able to take such a ridiculous scoreline away from the Danes at the moment. And it's looking likely to be 14-4 eco out for North Academy. USP's P2K. The only bit of utility is a flashbang from Cyclone, who may actually flash the aggressive peek in to find something against the Endpoint side in Monster, but outside of that, very little use can come through from these guys, as Endpoint line themselves up for what looks to be a quick B hit. The Molotovs will come through. Flashbang from Cyclone probably should be counter-flashed out here, and Alex will be able to see it. Tries to see if he can spray him down. Does take down a core, but Cyclone and Mertz, last 2 left alive. They'll only get 1 frag, and it's just a lowly Galil, which Weber will pick up anyway. A 14-4 score and a 10-round deficit for North Academy to overcome. This is looking very, very good for Endpoint. Maybe, just maybe, there may be an opportunity brewing here for the Brits.
Mertz literally invests all the money he has into this one AWP. I did say that sometimes he does kind of have to rely on that AWP heavily, and this is one of those positions where he's decided it's worth going for the AWP completely glass cannon without anything else around it. So we'll have to see if he can land those shots early on, because Mertz by himself is going to peek up in towards mid. Flash comes out, Mertz still sticking around, but they're getting up close. This is going to be tricky if Mertz misses the shot. How have they not spotted him? Finally, the trade comes out as Mertz gets 1 kill before he goes down. But surely Endpoint should have been able to get him earlier on. Either way, it's only 1 kill on the hold, and Endpoint continue to just rush towards this A site, although now they are having second thoughts.
They're still making noise. They're still trying to pull things away from North Academy, but they're expecting maybe a luck, maybe a fake. Gade and a core. Main 2 guys left here on the site. Trying to find anything. You can see a core jumping, trying to see if he can see vision through this truck. They are waiting back, and Endpoint have gone a lot more passively here. They are just looking for anything that they can. The AKs, the M4, the Galils. And now Utility starting to set things up here. It's all up to Gade and Akor. Akor desperately looking for information, but now we'll see the smokes. Counter smoke down, but these are the 2 players to hold it down. All in all, Akor will burn alive Gade with a flashbang, peeks on through, but Mighty Max and Weber lock them down. Both frags are 3 versus 2 to the favour of Endpoint, with Cyclone next up as a responder. Good spray for the smoke and get a blind shot on Mighty Max, but he's flying back behind the truck, so I don't think that was 100% possible. Either way, North Academy have their last 2 players left up here into Dumpster. Weber is watching out for the boost in case it comes through, or maybe looking for Borup through that smoke. A small gap, a small angle is all he needs, as North Academy are running out of time on this retake and looking less than likely, because they haven't even got the fuse kits. Eventually, the lockouts will come through. Weber will get himself an M4. That's going to be match point for Team Endpoint. It doesn't even matter that their economy is looking a little bit worse for wear, and 3 players got taken out. North Academy have to force buy. Endpoint have a full buy regardless, and they are 1 away from finally taking their first victory in the group stage.
Yeah, and this was pretty much a must-win for Endpoint. They had their backs up against the wall, being 0 and 2 to start out this group. But they've still got time to recover if they could maybe take a win. But I think they've still got to play against Ukraine, which is going to be a tough one. Either way, they still keep themselves in with a chance here as long as they take this win, and that, of course, is the most important thing at this point. Molly goes out, Mighty Max is forced back by the Flames, and you can see, of course, North Academy forcing whatever the hell they can It's a bit of a bargain basement buy with the money they have, but still the UMPs will play up close. Oh, Mighty Max shoves it out. How does he get 2 kills there? That was ridiculous. He was pretty much blinded up, I think, for the second one, and he got a wallbang headshot, and that might just settle it, because as Mertz goes down, it's only going to be Gade left. He is in towards B short, but he's trapped behind a smoke. And again, I think North Academy are pretty much done. The nade comes in just to add insult to injury. I think Gade will go falling any second now, and there it is. Stanley secures the win as Endpoint take a convincing 16-4 here on Overpass.